Hello and welcome to Season 5 of the FPL Hangover podcast, where we raise the bar and lower the tone, all things FPL related. It has been too long since I've said those words. Some might say not long enough, but here we are, dragged kicking and screaming back in front of another fancy Premier League season. And let's see what fresh hellscape awaits us. Here.
You sound so enthusiastic there, Ger.
You seem super low energy.
Oh, I guess
Here.
everyone listen to this. Like, so excited for the new season.
Yeah, you sound like David Attenborough. Here we are.
Here's to cheer me
New
up
Premier League season.
of my two podcast partners in crime.
That's what you should do. You should do the intro as in the style of David Attenborough.
I'll wait till the next animal goes extinct, and then I'll do it to raise
Yeah,
awareness.
That can be our new shtick. Each week you do the intro in the style of something new. So like this week could be David Attenborough. Next week could be David Brent. The following week could be, I don't know.
It's good to be back anyway, guys.
James
It's good to be back.
Hetfield.
As if we didn't have enough gimmicks already. Yeah,
I know.
We are cutting that out, are we? Because that was gold.
Oh, we're not cutting shit out.
Excellent.
You know,
That's just one take.
one take.
Oh.
That's
One
what
take
they call
pod.
me. One take pod. Yeah.
Love it.
But my two podcast partners in crime, Paddy, how are you getting on?
Getting on great. I've missed you guys. I've missed the listeners, most of them, the ones I haven't blocked, and it's just good to be back.
You're damn right. What about you, Seamus? How do you do, my friend?
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, it's a late one, isn't it? Like this is like a post 11 p.m. Thursday, 21st of August or 21st of July pod. But it's great to be back. It's good to chat shit with you guys. So yeah, looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to seeing what your thoughts on your game week 1 teams are, because we haven't really discussed this before today at all. So
We haven't discussed it even including today. Like, we've basically shared a couple of images just to prep for the show, and we haven't.
what I mean.
And the images weren't even
Literally
of our
just
FPL
now.
teams.
No, just dick pics. The usual WhatsApp group chat stuff. You know, nothing wrong with a little
There kind
horseplay.
of was a dick pic in there.
But so I mean, we're 2 weeks out from the start of the FPL season. I think now is about the time where it's fair to do a bit of an old chin wag. You know, things are starting to take shape. There's a couple of preseason matches. You know, bandwagons are forming. But have you prepped much for it, Seamus? Are you kind of ready for the season, or are you still just kind of in the hibernation mode?
No, I've done a bit. I did my game week 1, initial draft. Tried to get, as low as an FPL ID as possible. Not really. Like, I just was like, oh, look, it's live. I went down. I think I was on the website 20, 30 minutes after it went live, just because I was on Twitter and I knew it was going to go live sometime. And I was like, oh, it's gone live. I better go in, log in, auto pick the team, and then saved it. Then went on and actually picked my first draft. I still end up with like some ID of like 32k. So that just tells you how many people were there waiting, hitting auto refresh, trying to get that low ID. But I've got an ID I can remember a bit, so that should be good. And my later drafts haven't really, deviated too much from my original drafts. So I'm firmly in the big at the back. I've looked at the cheaper options and going for a premium. I've looked at a few different variations, but I think I'm pretty set on the big in the back kind of season, early start to the season.
You're in the big at the back vibe. Baby got back. What about you, Paddy? Have you kind of been focusing on the start of the league, or are you still chilling out?
I think like everyone when the game launched, I've been tinkering. I mean, I've done the usual, made about 6 drafts, done the one where I wish I had the balls to go along with, did the one without Salah, did the one with Salah, and now I've kind of settled on one that's kind of template and boring, but I might spice up with a few, wild cards.
Yeah.
Like last season, like I had Pogba in there, like for the first game week.
Oh, you're going to have
You have to have one.
an around the fringes player who's your I think wildcard is a bad
Your ace,
choice of words
ace.
because I actually
Yeah,
was
it's
like, "Oh, you're
terrible.
planning on doing an early wildcard?"
Yeah, well, yeah, might wildcard, triple captain all in the 1 week, first game week. But no, an ace. I should have said an ace.
an ace in the hole.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get you. I get you.
The whole-
That was definitely a question I wanted to ask you, Paddy. It was like, who's this season's game week 1 Pogba? Because he started off like
Yeah.
a freight train.
Four
last year.
assists. 4 assists.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Fat lot of good that did you?
Yeah, fucked me, didn't it? Went to my head. Thought I was gonna win.
I got it. I got Pogba. But enough about a man who's not even going to be in the game this year. What about men are going to be in it? I mean, you kind of touched on the talking points there, Seamus, in terms of premium, big at the back. They're always the buzzwords floating around this time of season. You said big at the back, Paddy. What are you looking at right now? I'm going to pull your draft up on screen. How many premiums you got? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I've got. I'm kind of, I think, more balanced, if you would call it that. I have my premium striker. I have my premium midfielder. I'm big at the back, actually. Yeah.
Do you
looking like it.
Do you want to call out your team there for the?
Yeah,
the
right.
audio?
So in nets, I've got Mendy. I've got James, Cancelo, Trent, and I've got the Arsenal guys 4.5. Thomas. Can anyone give me the pronunciation?
Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
Then in the midfield, so I've got Salah, Luis Diaz. I have Neto, and I've got Rashford. So he could be my ace this year. And up front, I've got Jesus, and I've got Holland.
Is that the way you're going to say it for the season, Holland?
I was the exact same thing. I was thinking, like, he's going to be calling him Holland for the season.
Well, apparently that's the thing, isn't it?
That's how you pronounce him.
Holland.
Holland. It's not Holland.
I think it's Holland.
It's
It's Holland. Holland.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to get
I'm gonna call him Haaland.
We're gonna have to get some Norwegian guy on.
And anyway, my subs are Andreas, Plange, and Neko Williams, and Rhea.
Plange.
Plange.
Yeah,
I hadn't
even
seen.
heard of this guy.
No.
Crystal Palace player.
Sounds like something you'd get between your legs after a night out. You know?
Well, look, guys, come here. Everyone's going Greenwood for Leeds, and when he's like 24%, and when he starts to be fucking sold, I don't want to lose. Like, I'm not going to use him, so I don't want my value to drop. So I've got Plange at 4.5, who's just going to stay at 4.5. So, you know, there's a bit of a method behind the madness with Plange.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm not going to criticize that. But you've got Rhea as your sub goalkeeper, is that right? So you've got 2 playing goalkeepers in your team.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Rhea's
You got 9.5. Yeah, but you got
you-
9.5 spent in your fucking goalkeepers right now. That's the first thing I noticed. It's a
yeah,
bit
but I've
mad.
got a set. I have a set and forget goalkeeper.
So why have a 4.5 sub?
Sub.
Is there a 4.0 goalkeeper in there?
Oh, there's plenty of them, yeah.
Not one that's gonna play.
Yeah, well, I'd rather have
Yeah,
one.
no one- yeah.
I'll have one that plays, please.
I don't know. I think 9.5 for only I mean, like, surely the way is either you get Mendy for your 5 million and you have a 4 million sub, or you go maybe 2 4.5s, or you know, the classic 4.5 and a 4.0.
Rotate. I hate rotating keepers, but there is you see with that extra 0.5.
Yeah.
I was having a look. There's not much value in them, like where I would want to strengthen. Like Neto is the best I can get for 5.5. I was looking at 6 million. Like that, putting that 5 there, and there's not much there. I was looking at 5 million defenders.
No, yeah, I mean, but I would rather have that 0.5 in my bank than sitting in a sub goalkeeper.
Yeah, but I have 0.5 sitting there.
I'd either rather have 0.5 in my bank, or I'd have Tomiyasu to be Trippier, or Tomiyasu to be Cash or something like that. I think for the extra 0.5.
The thing is, though, those first, you know, Arsenal's fixtures, those first 8 fixtures are really good, and I think I'd rather have a top 6 side, top 4 side than have Newcastle defense in there. So
I think you could.
I'm going to stand by my Tomiyasu.
I think Newcastle will be good this year. That's why the only reason I'm talking about them.
Yeah, well, maybe they probably will be good, but I can't see them like having an amazing clean sheet. Like, you're getting Trippier for more what he can his attacking returns, isn't it?
That's it. And I don't think Tomiyasu missed a lot of last season with the second half of last season with an injury. And there's even still rumors, or not rumors, Arteta has mentioned it in preseason, like he's still got something wrong with him. and maybe he'll be fine. But like he's missing preseason, so I can just see this being another one of his injuries dragging on, and he's still there in October, not starting, and you're going, why the fuck have I got this guy on my team? I mean, you can move him to Ben White. Ben White will play. He's 4.5 as well, and he's Arsenal. If you
Yeah.
want it, but neither of them have much attacking return. Trippier
Well,
could be good, especially with Pope and goals, and maybe they'd be good. I'd nearly.
yeah,
I'd
well,
rather
maybe
go
I'll change. Maybe I'll change him, Seamus, to make you happy. But at the moment, I'm playing my own game,
I'm
and
just.
Tommy Asu is going to stay in my team.
It's more
so
about.
thank you very much.
I'm only making the argument because you said I don't think I could do much with the 0.5 from changing your keeper. I think you should drop that keeper down to like Mendy's going to play.
I was fucking. You blindsided me with that. I didn't even think about that. So of course I want the 0.5, but I'm raising my voice now because I'm annoyed
Okay.
and I want to win the argument, and I probably will change Ray to a 4 million goalkeeper. Okay.
And then you'll have 1 million in the bank.
Sure, he thinks we're.
No,
he takes this as criticism. We're like, hey, Paddy, I think you could just like save yourself 0.5. This is like us trying to like go.
All
Hey,
we're
here's
doing,
here's
all we're doing
something-
here, Paddy, is building character. That's all we want to do. It's just building your FPL character. You know?
It's all good, guys. It's all good.
But let's
Thanks, Seamus.
let's let Paddy have a breather. Seamus, talk us through your team because you've actually gone big at the back, very big at the back. You've only got the one premium striker, but I didn't even notice till right now you've actually gone fucking Ederson in goals as well. So talk us through your team. Call it out there for the.
I was going to ask you
benefit of
which
the
team have
audience.
you got up here?
I got
So
the one.
The one
Sorry.
with Ederson and goals. That was my original draft, and
It's a lot of money for a Man City or for a goalkeeper there, isn't it?
it is.
And like it's really taken up a Man City spot as well. Do you not think, Seamus? Like
That is no. It's a really.
How dare you make fun of Seamus by using valid points, Paddy? That's not how this podcast is
It's
supposed
a really
to work.
good point. It's the reason why, like, this is my first draft. This is my initial draft. I've kind of, my more recent draft, the thought you mentioned there is exactly the reason why I took
so this
Ederson
is your
out.
fake draft.
No, this is my original draft. This was first draft.
Okay,
That's what
okay.
we're asked for. And I wanted, like,
No, there was no specifics.
okay. Can I talk? Geez, I feel like I'm being audited here.
This is what it's going to be. We're going to be ripping each other's teams to
Okay.
shreds, and
Yeah.
I'm not.
Get used to it.
I'll put it this way, right? They like going for a triple Liverpool or triple City straight off the bat seems like a good choice.
Can
Because
you
they're the best team.
just to cut across you, Seamus? Sorry, I know you're trying to get into it, but can you call out your team just for the audio listeners?
Call out my team?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just call out my team first. This is my original draft. Ederson in goal, Cancelo, Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, Reece James and Perisic. Okay, so like super big at the back six.
That's crazy.
Cheapest player there is
Yeah,
5.5.
Perisic might even play. He was injured.
Go on, keep calling them out.
Then I've got Salah captain, Martinelli at 6.5, Kulusevski.
Rotation.
Yeah, Kulusevski at 8.0. That of course could be another 8.0 as well. I'll talk about that a bit more. Neto 5.5 price mark, and then Haaland at 11.5 up front. The bench is muck. It's Colback, and I threw in Forrest, Taylor, and Ward 4.0 keeper. This is before Andres Pereira moved, so he's on my team now as well. But basically, it means playing two non-playing in my team, having two non-playing forwards, and like a cheap what my one playing sub really is my fifth midfielder. That was my original draft, but as you can see, big at the back, two premiums, and then covering the price points 5.5, 6.5, and 8 in midfield.
Yeah, you kind of said there that like even I know that we'll stick to this as the draft just because it's on the screen, but like you did say that you were kind of leaning towards big at the back anyway. Like, what's the thinking behind that?
Well, one of the major decisions I had to make earlier on was, Luis Diaz at 8.0, like fantastic value, underpriced, could be amazing, could have a 200-point season in an 8.0, that would be amazing. And then I was like, Robertson kind of is usually close to a 200-point season as well for 7.5 or 7.0. He's amazingly underpriced. So, like, yeah, I can see there might be times where Luis Diaz will go through a spell, and maybe I want him for that like 4 or 5 game week season and a half or period, and then a hop off. So maybe I want the flexibility, but then am I going to really go with only 2 Liverpool players? It feels like I should have 3 Liverpool players as much as possible throughout the season, and I think Trent is a lock. He was the first. He was probably in my team before Mo Salah. So yeah, him and Salah are in there. Salah's never even considered being left out of any of my drafts. So it's really about that third Liverpool slot. And Robertson, everything comes back to like Robertson is probably going to outscore Diaz. I don't care how Diaz compares to other 8.0 million players or whatever. Um, Robertson's probably going to outscore Diaz, is a million cheaper. I'm going to stick Robertson in. And then I will go to another 8 million player. That's why I have Kulusevski in there. It could be someone like Foden. Bowen is just out of my price range. And who else is 8 million? Saka. Uh, Saka seems he's priced appropriately, but will he match last season's
Well, he's a better
value?
pick than Kulusevski, I would imagine.
Yeah,
I
I was just going to say as well. I think like I do like your team, and at least you've got a game plan there, big at the back. It's really big at the back. But I mean, like you've got two players in there, Kuleveski and Martinelli, that are probably potential
Rotation risk.
rotation
well,
risks. There, Seamus.
Smith Rowe still has a knock at the minute, and he's not playing. So I think
Right.
Martinelli
Okay.
will start the season, and maybe that will change. But like with this team, the major not benefit the plan with this team is that Ederson set and forget. Last year, I had 6 different keepers at different stages throughout the season. Now, like that's including like 2 different wild cards, and I think that's not even. I think that's not even including like free hits. I think I just had a lot of. I made a few keeper changes because there was times where I didn't have a playing keeper because cancellations and stuff.
Yeah.
So I moved
It
my
was a
keepers anyway.
freak. It was a freak year, though. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's 6 transfers. Like you only get a certain amount of transfers a year. I think I made like 42 transfers or something last year anyway. So yeah, I just want to cut that out. And when I compare Ederson at 5.5 to Laporte and DS at 6 million, as I said, I'm doing that comparing players on teams rather than comparing, I could just get a 4.5 keeper who would probably get close to that anyway. It's like I could just get Ederson. Now, look, spoiler alert, I'm probably not going to go with Ederson anyway because if um if if City sells Zinchenko, then I think
That's done.
Walker becomes a lock.
Zinchenko's
So
gone.
so in my latest draft, I have Walker and I've got rid of Zinchenko, but I have so that frees up a spot.
And then when
Okay,
they sign Cucurella, it just fucks that all up again.
not really because Cucurella won't start with City's system being as complicated as it is. It's going to take him a while before he establishes himself in the team. So if I'm just looking first 5 game weeks, I'm happy that Walker's going to start with a week's break between pretty much all games until like game week 5. I think is when the first midweek games happen. So I'm pretty confident that it'll be Cancelo left back and Walker right back, provided he's not injured for the first 4 or 5 game weeks, and then after that I can move him on.
Yeah,
Walker
yeah.
can become anyone else. Like it will become clear, who's 4.5 and absolutely killing it, or who's the FPL darling that we didn't expect, and that position can be him. So at the minute though, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'll dissect these a little bit more. We'll kind of break down some of the price points and positions as we go along. But I'll just quickly jump to my own team. Uh, you have it there in the chat, but for the purpose
Yeah.
of the audio listeners, I've got Rhea starting in goals. I've got James Cancelo, Tomiyasu, Alexander Arnold, and then in midfield Ramsey, Gordon, Salah, Rashford, and then Haaland and Kane up top. And then with the bench being what seems to be the template bench this year so far, anyway, Nico Williams, Andreas, and Greenwood with a 4.0 keeper. So no major shocks. I think the fact that for me this current draft is that 3 premium player kind of approach. But Seamus, you said you had some interesting thoughts when you saw it. You were surprised or something. You went, "Oh, that's really your team? Passive aggressive." Yeah. Or KDB.
You've gone for the premium. I've had an all play around with it, and I kind of want to go big at the back. I want to have the premium defenders. I just think they'll prove value. And I actually
Yeah, you could say this is 4 premiums, really.
yeah, I mean, like it's got. I mean, yeah, I mean, like if you're counting Alexander Arnold and Cancelo as premiums,
Yeah.
then or if you count
And
Robertson as
James.
premium, yeah, and James.
No, I'm certainly counting Alexander as one. It's at 7.5, like in the back. It's
I think, but see, he's going to be so well old. I think we just he's neutral at this stage. When we're talking premiums, I'm thinking
budget wise though. I'm chatting like
he's a premium defender, but I'm thinking when
Yeah.
we use the term premium here in this context, I think we're talking about just attacking premiums, because they come with an inflated price tag.
yeah. Well, Trent, you could argue is
Yeah, no,
attacking.
100%. And so is Cancelo.
You know.
But I get what you're
Yeah.
both arguing the same
Well,
thing.
I just mean it when I say attack. I
No,
just mean fielders and
yeah, okay.
forwards, just is what I meant. But yeah, no, take your point. Getting into it there though, yeah, you managed to do that, and there's a few ways to do it. One of the ways is to start sacrificing the the premium players at the back. So you go like 4.5, 4.0, Trent, maybe Cancelo, and then another 5 million or something like that. You've done it in a way that you've got two 5.5s. You've got no 8.0 million player. I don't think you even have a
got
6.5
Rashford,
player.
baby.
You've Rashford at 6.5. Yeah, 6.5, 5.5, 5.5. I'm just surprised you went with 2 premium forwards. I was considering going from the thing with my decision was when I decided I was going 2 premiums, I kind of need to have a premium forward slot so I can move players in and out there. I would really like Son, but then if I go Son and Salah and Haaland becomes a real option, it's going to take 2 moves to get him in there. So that's why I've got Haaland at the moment, and my gut is saying, a Spurs player. At the minute, I'm kind of thinking I might actually change Haaland to
that's
Kane.
where I was going to get onto. So if we were to like look at it a bit more closely and kind of some of the hot properties in FPL at the moment, Haaland's a massive talking point. I think all 3 of us, all 3 of us have Haaland in our teams, and like, have you any doubts, Paddy? Is he locked in your team?
He's not locked. I've been switching between him and Kane the whole time, but the only thing is, I feel that if I go with Kane, I'll be hiding behind the couch game week 2. So, like, at least if you go with Holland, you have, you have that nice run where you're not, I know Kane is equally able to do as much in any game, but I mean, that second game week, I would you know you could go nuts as well.
It's definitely something that's playing on my mind. What about you, Seamus? Locked in? You said you were kind of flicking between maybe just switching to Kane. Like, Haaland didn't start today, I believe, in their friendly.
Yeah, so Haaland was in my team because he is going to be the primary center forward or attacker on the best attacking team. Well, probably not the best attacking team, but they might have been slightly better than Liverpool at the end of last season because they kind of got it together towards the end.
Yeah.
But the best
Defending
team in the league, right?
Champions.
Yeah, they're the best team in the league, and we all expect him to kind of hit the ground running because he's Haaland and he did it with Dortmund and stuff like that, and he's like a generational talent. He's just a monster of a player. We think he's got the physicality to cope with the Premier League. We think he's going to be on the end of all these chances that City create, and all these ones that Foden missed one-on-one and stuff like that last season are going to be put away, and he's going to bang a hat-trick game week 1 and 4 goals game week 2. So you do not want to be left behind that, scrambling, chasing it, especially if it goes up 0.1 in that between game week 1 and game week 2, and you're like, oh crap, I can't get him now without taking a hit. So there's like safety numbers. You see the ownership on the website. You see he's got like 55, 60, 65, whatever percent ownership you might have. Oh, it's going up and down the whole time his players are logging. There's 3 million players in the game now, and there's going to be more. But he's going to be massively owned, and it's scary going without him. And you want a premium forward. And Kane, kind of, there was times last season where Son put him in the shade, and that's playing in my mind, and I'm kind of like, God, geez, I want Son. I really want Son. But then if you look at the numbers from like game week 20 onwards or whatever it was from January, Son and Kane were kind of identical.
And another thing just
very,
to note
very
on Kane
close,
is that at the start of last season, his head was turned. He wanted City, and he's now 100% focused on Spurs,
Oh yeah.
Spurs have been very active in the market. They have big intent this season. Kane, like any fucking thoroughbred, we'll call him, will be wanting to show that he is the main man. Like Haaland in there now. There's actually strikers and forwards in the game this season. Like there was fuck all last season. Like we've got Nunez there. Well, I'm not going to go off on a big waffle, but he scored a hat trick there tonight. I mean, there is options up front now, but I like that Ger has eliminated the problem of who to go for. He just gone both. Whether he
Yeah.
does that for game week 1, we don't know. But I mean, you've eliminated that problem, which is I've tried it as well. But
I'll be
do
honest
like
with
it.
you. I'll be honest with you. Like, I mean, a lot of this, like, I am leaning away from Haaland right now. Like we mentioned, I don't think he started a preseason match, but if he plays in the Community Shield in a week and
Yeah.
scores even just one goal, like I'm
Boom.
like, yep, boom, fine, that was it.
I think even if he
Yeah,
starts in
yeah.
the Community Shield, I think it changes everything. I think then he's in. But if he doesn't start in the Community Shield, I think he's not. I don't think he's going
100%.
to be
I
on
think
game
I'm the
one team.
exact same.
Yeah.
I think he was, and I think the only reason he's Kane and I don't go for De Bruyne in midfield or Son in midfield, like I really that's why Kulusevski's in my team, by the way. Okay, just to go back to the point you kind of questioned that you don't great value and stuff like that. I think he will be at times, and I'm kind of banking on Spurs having a good start to the season because Conte is a world class
Yeah.
manager. That was the one point Paddy didn't make about Spurs are going to be good. But Conte's a world class manager.
That
He's got them
was
fucking.
given.
He had them good. He had them good last year for periods, but then it went off the boil at certain points. But like they finished the season really strongly, like one of the better attacking teams in the league, and I think
Yeah.
they'll hit the ground running. I think they'll start strong. I looked at it and I was like, geez, even that Chelsea game,
But I
that's the sort of
think
game someone could thrive in.
I don't
That's
think
why I was
the
thinking
issue with
of Son.
Kulusevski
But
is Spurs or Conte. The issue is like they've
Richarlison.
signed Richarlison. Yeah, they've signed Richarlison now. I
Suspended
know,
first game of the
but
season.
like we're talking about, yourself, like the classic. You're not building your team for game week 1. You're building
Yeah.
your team for at least 3 or 4 game weeks. That kind of way you should be anyway. You should be treating this at the very minimum like a wild card, 3 or 4 weeks ahead. And yeah, if shit goes fucking south 2 or 3 weeks in, you can wild card, but like actually wild card. But like, I just for Kulusevski, I'm thinking Richarlison is going to take some minutes off him, and for 8 million, I'd rather be looking at the likes of a Foden. I mean that's a whole nother talking point, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I just think for me, I don't think I'd go the Kulu route.
Diaz is the 8 million
Yeah,
player to have, I
probably.
think. But I've already made the decision that that's my third Liverpool spot. So
Yeah.
so then it leaves me, what about the rest of them? And while Bone is still good value at 8.5, I just can't reach that far. So
No.
so that rules him out. Don't like Saka at 8 million. That's in my head ruled him out. So it really gives me Foden or Kulusevski. This is my thought process. Foden and Kulusevski, and I think I want double City defense and one City attacker. I think I want that. That's why I had Ederson in goals, and that's why I'll either go with Ederson in goals and just kind of stick with him for first half of the season, or right now I'm thinking I'll go with Walker. Kulusevski then is the 8 million player, and yeah, I take all the points you've made. Richarlison's going to take minutes off him. Game week 2, I can see Kulusevski getting 70 minutes, Richarlison getting 20. He's still new to the team. He still needs to be integrated into the team and learn the style and stuff like that. Kulusevski, I mean, Richarlison usually plays off the left, not the right as well, which is where Son plays off of the left. But that's another
Which is
point.
why I don't think Richarlison. I mean, like Richarlison will take minutes off of. I think a few. I think you'll see the likes.
Yeah.
He'll play all across the
I do.
front three, I
Yeah,
think.
But I do think he'll start off with reduced minutes. So I think Kulusevski's a fine player to have for the first 4 game weeks. And Kulusevski is that price point. Like playing with the big at the back, unless shit goes wrong. Like just say for example, Liverpool start off like they had that season a couple of years ago where everyone got injured and they just were terrible as a defensive option for a while. They weren't keeping clean sheets. Van Dijk got injured and stuff like that. They're playing Nat Phillips at the back and stuff like that. We all had to go, well, look, we can't go double Liverpool at the back. That experiment ended. Unless something like that happens, I can see myself sticking with Trent, sticking with Robbo, sticking with James, just showing patience with these guys. Because I think if you show patience with them, even if they start off poorly the first 3 or 4 games of the season, it'll switch back. Whatever about Perisic, I mightn't start with. But the players that I've earmarked for those transfers in game week 2, 3, 4, Kulusevski is one of them. He could be gone by game week 3. But I think a game week 1 team fixture against Southampton, there could be 2 or 3 goals in that for Spurs, and if there is, it's a good chance he's involved. I think
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
forgetting that. I think people are going, oh, they're going to lose minutes over time. It's like, yeah, but he could have like 3 goal involvements in the first 3 game weeks, and then he's perfect, for 8 million.
I get you.
Yeah,
I think he reeks of transfer waiting to happen. But I take your point that that first fixture is lovely, and you said yourself, you've already been looking to get rid of him in 2 or 3 game weeks. But another player that you have, that Paddy actually you also have, and you could argue is maybe a transfer waiting to happen, but he's a bit of a preseason darling, is Neto. Paddy, like, what's your thoughts behind bringing him in?
I think it's the fixtures, the price point, the 5.5 is attractive. Um, he plays, more up front. Like he's pushed on. He's kind of like nearly out of position at times. Um, he scored a couple of goals there in preseason. I think he's just a real for the 5 point. He's the best 5.5 price point in the game.
Do you agree with that, Seamus?
Yeah,
And you
he's
have him in your
he's
team.
he's one of them. He's already out of my team. Since I've sent on that draft to you, I've already transferred him out. Although he did do well, I think yesterday, or was it earlier today, where he got a goal and assist or something like that in a preseason friendly. But for 5.5, I'm not expecting much. It's not always you're not always going to get like when I had Fraser for 5.5
Yeah.
2 or 3 seasons ago, and he was absolutely smashing it from game week 1. It's very hard to find these guys. I think I have Ramsey in my team now for Aston Villa. They have a decent enough start, and I was impressed enough with him last season. He's a bit box to box. I don't know what way I'll land. I kind of was thinking of putting Suchek in there as well, if he can find the form he had 2 seasons ago. Last year, not so much, but yeah. So one of these players, they're kind of stick him in there, and they'll get points maybe over 10 game weeks, but if they don't, they're not a priority kind of position to move. It very rarely emerges that there's a 5.5 midfielder who becomes essential or less.
Yeah.
So I can just see myself like Neto's useless, just keep him there because all the other 5.5 options are useless too. Suchek is just as bad, Ramsey's just as bad, but I need to have someone in there picking up 2 3 points each week, and maybe they'll do something the odd time, and I'll be, yeah. If Neto got me, you know, 2 attacking returns in the first 6 game weeks, I'd be delighted. And if that came in
No.
one game where he got a goal and an assist, he got me 14, 15 points, but all the other games were 2 2 2 2 2, I would still be delighted. It doesn't have to be 5 points here, 6 points there.
Yeah.
The reason that's putting me off him now is just that with people back, Traore's back, for example, from his loan from Barcelona, right? Um,
He is.
Podence is back fit. Jimenez, now we've got Huang and stuff like that. I just like maybe there's going to be a lot more rotation. Maybe his minutes are going to be reduced, so maybe he's less appealing then. And that's the other reason why I'm thinking Haaland. Like the team I have has got 2 4.5 non-playing forwards. Basically, I need a playing forward, and that's why I'm thinking Kane is a bit more appealing because he'll play every single week. Uh,
Would that change your thoughts on Kulusevski?
no, not really, not for the first few, because as I said, you kind of have to earmark, okay, where are the players I'm probably going to transfer in the first few weeks. And if I was to look at my team there, I would say Kulusevski would be one, and my 6.5 slot or 6 million slot like Martinelli might be another.
Mm, yeah.
Those are probably where I'm going to make the moves, unless I want to do a kind of premium forward dance where I go Haaland in game week 3 or something like that, and then back, provided he hasn't gone up a price or something like that.
Uh, just looking at Jared. Jared, you've got an interest in midfield there. You were talking about Ramsey, Seamus, but you've got Gordon in there as well, Jared, and I don't know what his ownership is, but he seems like a little sneaky pick in there as well. He's not bad. I mean, but do you think you'll end up having that midfield, or
I
what's
mean,
the thoughts behind Gordon? Is he just enable? Is that what you could get with the?
he's just a bit of a placeholder right there. I mean, I've
Yeah,
been honest with you, if the season was starting tomorrow, I would probably switch. I mean, and I was only switching one player. I would probably
yeah,
go with him to Neto. Right now, like when I decided to do the 3 premium attackers, Haaland, Kane, Salah, I was thinking, do you know what? Like I knew I'd have to make kind of sacrifices somewhere, but I've also got James at the back, which
yeah,
I think when you've got Trent and Cancelo and the 3 premiums attackers, James is a bit of a luxury. So I mean, all of a sudden you turn James into a 4.5 defender, and Gordon becomes like a Martinelli or someone in around that kind of 6.5 6 million price point. I've actually so Gordon's definitely not something I'm stuck to, but I think there's merit to it. He looks like he'll start. I feel like he'll be one of Frank's babies until Lampard inevitably gets fired.
Sacked mid-November.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then what I mean, and I'm going, so maybe like their first fixture, Chelsea, obviously a toughie. I wouldn't, he would probably be one of the deciding factors in getting rid of him. But like after Chelsea, they've got
a few decent games.
Yeah, they got Villa, Nottingham Forest, Brentford, Leeds. Like there could be goals in that. I mean, I don't know if they'll keep any clean sheets, but I could see a few goals in it. But yeah, so I mean, like I think Gordon is well worth considering in that 5.5 range. We talked about Neto. I think Ramsey, Seamus, I have him in the team as well. You have him in your current draft. I think he's definitely someone that kind of had double digits in him last year. And for that kind of price point, that's what you want. Blank for 2 or 3 game weeks in a row, but then all of a sudden you get that 10, 12 pointer and you're laughing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I kind of touched on Martinelli there, and I know Seamus has him. I'm not sure if you do, Paddy. But I wanted to get your thoughts on Odegaard because he's 6.5, captain. He's settled in now. Was tipping away a bit last year. He's obviously more secured in minutes than Martinelli, but I think Martinelli should be fairly okay for the start. But he's more nailed on. Like, is he like a wait and see, or like I think this could be his season. I'm leaning maybe if I was to take that money out of my defense, I could splurge on an Odegaard. You had fun with him last year, Paddy.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed owning him. But I just think that for me, and I'm trying not to be biased, but at 6.5, I think you're talking about someone going to have a season. This could be their season. I think this could be Rashford's season. I think he's on a real clean slate. The guy's fucking focused this year, beyond belief. I think Ten Hag has great influence on the team. I think he's going to be starting most games. That seems to be I don't think he's got a bigger worry as Martial. Obviously, I know people are looking at Martial now, but Ronaldo's still there at the minute. I think so I think Rashford's nailed at 6.5.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I think he's further up the pitch.
Yeah, I was wondering how long it would take us to get into.
Well, we had to.
We did eventually. Man United talk. All 3 of us United fans. It's hard not to get a little bit of hope. When you
I know
trash Liverpool, even if it isn't a preseason friendly, and then you see that goal is scored, that second goal is scored there 2 days ago. You're thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, this is it!"
That was a goal. That was
wow.
Such a goal.
They were good. I know it's preseason, it's not to get carried away, but I think Rashford at 6.5 is really good value.
Yeah, he's sitting in my team, Seamus.
Yeah, he's in my team.
You know Rashford.
I think Paddy answered it almost exactly like I would have answered. It was like the first thing when I was like 6.5 I was like, if you're going 6.5, I probably want to take a punt on Rashford. But I think it was right to go to Paddy first because he had Odegaard last year, so I think he would have, a good feel for him. Like you said, Ger, I think Martinelli starts the first few games of the season. His place to lose, but it might only be 2 games, and then he could be on the bench. I think he's a good option because I think he can score goals in any game, and their games are. I think Arsenal's games are kind of inflated. I think people are saying, "Oh, they've got amazing games." I'm not feeling the love for Jesus, to be honest.
Crystal Palace away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, and Villa at home in the first 5.
With game weeks 3 and 4 are good, but game weeks 1 and 2, like Crystal Palace last season, were a tough team, but I think they've had a bad preseason, so I'll have to see how they're doing in preseason. But if they were to play like last year, then their first 2 home games are pretty tough, and they started poorly last year, and they have a lot of injuries, so they could start off as badly as they started off last year to a lesser degree. So I'm not all in on the Jesus one. I'm happy to take a punt for 6 million on Martinelli because I think he can do stuff, and he's taken a penalty before. But Odegaard, I don't know, it just doesn't excite me. I think if I'm going,
is that the penalty that he took on the last day of the season when you transferred him out?
I think Jesus will be on penalties, guys.
I think you might be. Yeah, maybe. What do you think, Seamus? Jesus and penalties?
Yeah.
I haven't a clue. I don't know. Maybe.
But I mean, I wouldn't be like bringing Martinelli, and I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to bring Martinelli and bring him in, but I wouldn't be bringing him in because I think he's going to be on penalties as well.
I just think he's got goals in him. He just
Yeah, that's fine.
That,
That's
that
fine.
one goal he
That's
got was
totally
a penalty,
fine.
but
But I just don't think I'd be bringing him in for penalties.
no.
I think I think Jesus is a fine pick. I mean, I tried to not. I was looking at Saka, but I just thought, you know what? I'll take one from Arsenal. It's going to be.
He's hugely owned. I do not get his ownership. His ownership is 60.5%. He's more owned than Haaland. He's more owned than Salah. He's the highest owned player in the game. I'm just looking at
it's the first time Arsenal have had,
there's also about 4 or 5 million players to be added to the game, so let's not go mad.
Yeah, but the players who signed up right now are the diehards, or these are the players that we're trying to get as low as possible.
He's nice. He's a nice price point. He's nice value. He's in a team. I think he's not a bad pick.
No, I don't think he is at all. Are you you anti his? Are you like fuck Jesus? Is that your thing, Seamus?
I'll be honest, I'm pretty anti Jesus right now. I just can't see. I mean, I would rather have
Kulusevski.
No, I was going to say I would rather have Wilson for.
I knew you were going to say Wilson. Yeah,
I'd rather have Wilson. A proven goal scorer there. Like he's new in the team. Yeah, he started off well in preseason, but I just don't trust Arsenal. That Crystal Palace game.
Didn't Jesus tip away when he got his chance? At City when Aguero was injured or Aguero's out, Jesus come in, fucking done it.
Jesus is always tipped away. That's the thing.
He's always tipped away. He's never had the actual, this chance. This is his time to shine. Like
if he's only scoring 8 goals and 8 assists in a team as good as City, like what's he going to score with Arsenal?
But you know how little minutes he gets.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's not like you're not saying 8 goals, 8 assists, starting every week for City. That isn't what he was doing.
I don't think he's a premium converter. I mean, I could be completely wrong with this, but
he's not price premium. He's only priced.
No, he's budget. I mean, well, he's mid-price.
Yeah, he's mid-price. He's mid-price, but like Arsenal didn't create that many chances last season in many games. I mean, I put it this way. This is the way I put it. When I by comparison, when I look at Lacazette last season, was Lacazette okay? Maybe he was 7.5 last season. I don't know, but he's usually priced in the 8 million, 8.5 million bracket.
I think he was about 8 million last year.
Yeah, and Aubameyang is usually a bit more. But like
he was 11.
I just look at Jesus as a new version of Lacazette. Is he much better than Lacazette? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so.
Well, that's a good point, but
I never considered Lacazette a good option.
No, but I think Jesus will find. I think Jesus will is a better goal scorer than Lacazette.
I think Jesus is a better player than Lacazette as well. Yeah, I don't know if you're really comparing, if it's fair to just go, oh well, you're playing up front for Arsenal, so you're Lacazette now.
It is a fair comparison in that that's the player he's replacing. So I think that's an appropriate comparison. But
but there's a reason he's replacing him, I'd imagine.
Well, Lacazette was older, but Lacazette for a few seasons was pretty good. I mean, maybe not last season. But in seasons before that, he was good for stages, but
he's a lazy bollocks, is what he is.
He'd still only get like 12 goals. I just don't think I guarantee it. I'm not going to make any statements like that.
I'm going to say Jesus is a baller and he's going to score plenty of goals for Arsenal this season.
Let's just talk about Jesus. So, how many goals, assists do you think he's going to have this season? I reckon he probably has.
Hold on there, I plug myself in. All right, let me see. How many goals? Do I think he'll outscore?
You fucked Paddy up there by asking him numbers.
Yeah, he really fucked me up. He knows my weakness.
Yeah. I reckon he'll have.
Don't ask me actual numbers.
I reckon he'll have 12 goals, 8 assists.
Well, that's fucking value for money.
For 8 million, that's fine.
How many?
I mean, if you got that at the right time.
How many FPL points do you think that's going to
thank you for winning my argument for me.
I think that translates, but I think it's about. Like, my point is there, I think he doesn't get more than like about 12 goals. I think he gets some goals. I don't think he gets many goals. I don't think he gets 15 goals.
Do you just think Arsenal are not going to get goals in general, or do you think he specifically won't be that prolific?
I think he'll get some goals. I just don't.
But I mean, how do you think Arsenal are going? I mean, like that's the thing. Like,
where do I think Arsenal are going to finish in the league?
Yeah, fair enough.
About 6th position.
Okay.
So I think they'll be the 6th best team in the league.
Yeah.
And I think they'll get probably the 6th most goals in the league.
Who's coming 5th?
I think Spurs will come 5th.
Spurs.
No, I think United will probably come 5th.
There we go.
I think Spurs look good this year. I think United will probably come 5th. Chelsea, I reckon probably just be the same as last year. Like fucking, top 2 being, depending on what happens there, injuries dependent, for example, could be either of those, and then it goes, Spurs and Chelsea just behind them. Maybe Spurs might go ahead of Chelsea this year. I have a feeling Conte might do good things. But then United just behind them. I just think it'll take United a bit of time to kind of get I can see them dropping points when they shouldn't drop points. I see them finishing ahead of Arsenal. Arsenal have a good season, but it'll be close between Arsenal and United. But I just don't see them scoring. Okay, 38 games a season. I don't see them scoring more than 80 goals.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay, I think that's enough navel gazing. We've kind of looked at our teams quite a bit there. Before we start moving to the end of the show, we kind of chat. This is the first episode of the season, so there might be some new listeners. Who knows? But if there is, God help you. And if you've gotten 45 minutes into this shit show, absolutely fair play. You're gonna nail it. You're gonna make it, kid. There's something about you. But if you were to give a tip to a first-time FPL player, like just going into the season, what would it be? I'll throw it over to you first, Paddy, because you're always prepared for the show.
Right. If you're first time going into the FPL,
you're an absolute virgin.
Right, absolute virgin. Right. Yeah. The best tip I can give you is to not fuck about. I mean, do not go nuts and have
it's so rich coming
all
from you.
These
it's crazy.
Crazy. I know, but this is it. I don't even take my own advice. Go for your Trents. Go for these guys that are like premiums. Don't be making rash substitutions every fucking week either. If you make one, think of the future, the next 3 or 4 game weeks. It's all. I mean, like it is boring, but I think that's what you got to do. What do you call it, Seamus? ABC FPL.
ABC FPL. Just play ABC FPL. Basic. Just
always be closing.
FPL by numbers. Just tip away. And my thing I would say, the same question posed to me would be a kind of an elaboration of what Paddy's saying.
Take that pina colada off him.
It would just be an elaboration of what Paddy just said. What I would say is just decide who your captain's go. Look ahead. Decide who your captain's going to be the next 2 or 3 weeks.
That's a very important.
If you look at it and you go, Salah's going to be a captain the next 3 weeks, then get him in your team and then focus on, okay, well, where do I want to make gains elsewhere? What's my transfers going to be the next few weeks? But like if you look at it, go, Salah's got a great one this week, then he's got a couple of lean weeks, and then he's got another couple of good weeks. You've got to be looking at, okay, well, I need a premium, or I need someone I'm going to captain in game week 2 or 3. And that's where you should be making your decision about, your second premium. And then the choice becomes, are you having 2 premiums that can cover those captaincies, or do you need 3? Because if you're going to just captain 2 players for the next 6 game weeks,
if I'm an FPL virgin and you start saying I'm
you might
losing
jack themselves into the fucking matrix here. Also, big one, do not rage transfer. If you bring someone in, fucking keep him. Like, don't just rage transfer maybe just shit.
I love how Paddy is basically going, what is the opposite of how I play? You're like,
Yeah.
I'm half expecting you next, Paddy, to say, don't make your transfers until later in the game week. Don't be slow, that would just be the cherry on top.
But no, this is my year, boys. This is the year.
I really want this to be the year that we pretty woman you.
I swear to God, boys, this is my year.
I genuinely think I could win FPL this year. I just have a feeling in me bones. I don't know. So maybe Paddy will be close with me. 2 of us up there.
Boys, I'm going to the top this year.
I'm going to ask you what your goals are after this, but I will just touch on my tip. Just a tip. I won't, not on camera. But if I was to give a tip to anyone, especially someone new to the game, it's to just enjoy the breaks. Like, really take advantage of those international breaks we get. Even midweek, European World Cup is the obvious one this year, but that's not really going to be much of a break because everyone. But I get you exactly. I'm just like, really just
have a wank,
zone out. Have a wank, do whatever you want. I don't care what you do in your break. Yeah. But like, don't worry about FPL. It's very easy to get burnt out in the first half of the season, and I just that's something I've always kind of stood by. Is just like international break comes or something like that, literally turn everything off for a week. And you'd be surprised then kind of how little you get fucked towards the end of the season, at least for me. But back to overall goals. What do you you think you're going to win it this year, Seamus? So I assume you're aiming for the top.
I just have a feeling. I just have a
I
feeling.
just have a feeling, just maybe.
In me bones. Yeah, it's I
Uh,
feel it'll be a good one. My own personal goal this year is to just beat my my ID, my FPL ID, which is
What's your FPL ID?
He's mentioned it already. The brick, like 32k. For
three
somebody who doesn't care about it.
31995. I think is my ID. That's so. Just beat my ID. So finish top 32k. I'd be happy enough with that. I normally kind of say top 20k, but if I like last year I came 61k or something like that. So it'll be an improvement. It's getting harder to finish higher and higher each season. So I'm just going to just keep it, beat my ID. What's your ID, Ger? What would you have to beat? Top 10k?
15k, I think is my ID. Something in around that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Paddy?
mean, I don't care as long as I beat the
Well,
TV.
my
That's all
ID
my goal.
is 581. So
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I don't remember what my ID is. I'm not a virgin.
What's your goal though? What is your goal?
It's to finish top 100k.
Have you've done that, haven't you?
Yeah, I have done that.
Yeah, exactly. The first season.
But actually, my real goal is to just do better than I did last season, which is 470k. So I think I can.
That's a bit too easy, I think.
Yeah. So I want to get top 100k again. So.
I think. See, the thing is, I think you got to set a lofty goal because I think it could be game of gate and you could be.
Well. Top
200K.
100k is a lofty goal these days. I mean, I would love to say 50k, but I mean,
it is.
I'm gonna go for the 100k, and if anything happens, I'll really go for them. Like, but
Yeah, but the only reason I'm saying is you should kind of set a lofty goal like 100k is because like if you say I just want to beat last season's rank, sure you could be beating last season's rank for the first 10 games of the season, then you kind of be like,
yeah, well, I mean, I know I'm going to beat last
You
season's
can reevaluate.
rank. Yeah, I'm going. My goal is top 100k.
I think you know what went wrong last season. That's why I think you're going to beat last season easily.
Yeah, I do.
What did go wrong last season?
I didn't captain Salah against United for the 4-0. That was where it all went wrong. I made a transfer. I brought in Havertz for a hit. Captain Havertz. Chelsea were playing with no strikers. Havertz was going up top. He was a midfielder. United were playing Liverpool.
That was just unlucky like that. I mean,
and then after that, I
9-0.
felt like I was doing erratic moves to try and you know when you're betting and you just keep betting to try and win back your money.
Pogba went off form. That's what went wrong last
So
time.
basically, to summarize, you made risky bets to try and catch up, and it just compounded the problem. There you go. So just avoid that this year. I reckon you'll easily finish the top 200k. I think you reckon that hit that top 100k if you really want to keep the focus.
I'm looking forward to it anyway. Anyway, I'm gonna have fun. Whatever. I'm gonna do top 100k, and I'm gonna fucking enjoy every minute of it.
And that's why
should we have a forfeit for whoever comes last out of the three of us?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely for that.
Yeah.
I should have really.
Yeah.
Not a fucking hope. I feel like I'm putting far more on the line than anyone. I need this.
Well, Paddy's putting nothing on the line, so.
Exactly. But he's the one that's going to come last.
No, I'm not. No,
I'm not. No, I'm fucking not.
Right, shave head. No, what are we going to do then? We'll leave it up to the listeners.
Yeah, we'll work on it. And
yeah.
We'll,
not exposing myself outside of school or anything, so no one should put that in place.
Nothing that can get us arrested.
Sure. Yeah, so within reason, guys.
Yeah, within reason, or
Yeah,
exactly. But speaking of listeners, might as well get on to the mini league that is open again. I didn't tell you two this, but I actually bought the present for last year's winner. The prize for it's a fucking present. The prize for last year's winner. Quinner over in Canada now. The bollocks couldn't have stayed in Ireland another 6 months. Saved me a few bob. But yeah, so I actually picked that up this week. I'm not going to say what it is. I don't even know why I brought it up on the show, but it's really fucking cool, and I'm looking forward to sending you a picture of it.
Tell us off air.
Yeah, I'll tell you off air. And either way, the mini league's open. The code is on the screen, and for ye audio listeners, it's PK3DFT. PK3DFT. That's
all
Pixie. What? All lowercase.
And it's on your profile. It'll be on your bio.
Oh, on my Twitter bio. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I wish you were running all this shit, Paddy. But yeah, so P for pony. This happened last year as well, where I was like, what? I haven't thought about this.
Penis, ketamine, 3. What was the rest of it?
DFT.
Dick.
Donkey.
F. Fanny. No one's got this code. It's just on your bio.
I feel like they 100% got that first time. So there you go.
Yeah.
So join in. If you liked what you heard. Oh man, this is all gone P-tongue now for the other episode. If you like what you heard this week, subscribe on YouTube, hit us up on Spotify, whatever. You know all the usual shit. Like, subscribe, share it, give it to your grandmother, whatever. Finally, before we go next week, you two are going to do a pod. I haven't talked to you about that either, but I won't be around. I'm actually on my summer holidays. But we need to do a game week 1 preview. And we could talk about what our captaincy's armbands on now, but I do feel that that's all still up in the air.
There goes the neighbourhood, Seamus.
The
last time there was complaints.
You know I'm on holidays next week too. What are you talking
about? But you can do one at some stage. Whereas I guarantee you'll get one done. It'll be. I mean, that's 2 weeks. 2 weeks away.
As long as it's not
2 weeks away.
As long as it's not next weekend, because we have an FPL Irish meetup.
Are you sure you want to share this to the millions of people? You're putting this out there right now?
Yeah, no, I know. I shouldn't have said it.
Maybe it should be that weekend. Maybe it should be a live one with us in person.
We have to plug the meetup. So this is what's happening. There's a meetup happening in Donegal, and there's people coming from the 4 corners of the globe.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, it is. There's people coming over from England, though. There's people coming from the 4 corners of Ireland.
Okay, fair enough.
And we're all meeting up on Saturday. If anyone's there on Friday, by the way, we're doing a hike and we're going for dinner. On Saturday, we are 3 p.m. We're doing a pub crawl. Now, you know that game, Pub Golf?
Mm-hmm.
No, you've said this a bunch of times. What the fuck is Pub Golf?
You know what it is, Seamus.
I know what it is, yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing it with an FPL twist. So we're doing 11 pubs, right? So even if you had 1 drink in each pub...
Is 18 pubs pub golf?
No, it's 9. But we're doing FPL pub golf, so it's 11. I don't know why. 11 players.
18, you'd be absolutely dead by the end.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I could barely do 12 at Christmas.
So we're doing that with an FPL twist. So we're going to score a goal in every pub, maybe 2, maybe a hat trick. Who knows?
Is that a euphemism, or are you actually bringing some goals?
No, pints are goals. Shots are goals.
Well, no shit, you're going to score a goal in every.
Yeah, so
pub.
we're going to see who's top scorer at the end of the fucking season.
Oh, you're counting drinks.
There's a scorecard.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Down your local pitch and put.
It's no pressure. It's no pressure. If you want to be Holland and be top scorer, that's fine. And if you want to be Kuleveski and be bottom, that's totally fine too. So that's going to be FPL pub golf, right? I shouldn't say golf, but anyway, that's the Saturday, 3 p.m. We're meeting up.
Where?
The Oasis, it's called. I'll anyone who DMs or messages under the post, I have a post up on my Twitter. I'll give you them information. On the Sunday, we are leaving the fucking hangovers in the sea, the Atlantic Ocean. We're going for a dip in the Atlantic, freshen up. We're coming straight out of there. We're going over and having a game of football golf. We're going to have some football golf with beers and forfeits.
Did they not call it foot golf up in Donegal? Why is it football golf? It's just foot golf.
It's for the international listeners, Seamus.
Okay.
It's for the international listeners. Our football, soccer golf. And we also we are then going to the Old Glen Bar for the best pint of Guinness that you'll fucking ever receive in your mouth.
Well, we're hoping to be there. Myself and Seamus have got plans in motion. Vans in motion, I should say.
You will be there. And then after that, we're going to Downings, which is just down the road. It's a seaside town. And there's a festival on. There's live music on the street. It's music. It's pubs. There's fucking... It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be an amazing weekend.
And first round's on Paddy. That's what.
And the first round is on me.
Perfect.
You just can all share.
Right. Yeah, of course. We wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
But I think we can wrap it up there. That's the preseason episode done. I mean, we didn't exactly set the world alight in terms of...
Yeah, but
let's break it down by goalkeepers and forwards and have 2 hours of wanking about fucking 6.0 midfielders.
There's enough pods out there talking about it, but not everyone might know what our initial thoughts are, and now they know that, I love Ederson. Kulizevsky.
Yeah.
This is the Hangover podcast, the best podcast the world has ever seen. It's in the pub, having drinks or cocktails, whatever you. What are you on, Seamus?
I'm on. I'm
Guinness.
finished. I'm finished these now. I've had a couple of those. They're all gone
Good
now,
man.
though.
And
I'm
that's what it's
drinking
all about. And
from
you
wood.
guys are here in the pub with us, and we will see you next week. And do
Yeah,
you know
dude.
what as well? We'll try and do the spaces thing. This is the podcast, the Hangover podcast, and then we have, what do we call it the last time, Seamus? Last orders.
Last
Last
orders.
orders.
Last orders before the deadline. We'll jump on 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever we say in the podcast. We'll just fucking see if anything changed, because
It's a
shit
Friday.
happens, doesn't it?
Game week 1's a Friday deadline,
Yeah.
so we can try and see if we can do that. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I have to fuck off now because I have to do the bin. It's bin night for me.
It is. Where can they find you, Paddy? Tell them the.
Get me at the FPL Viking _ on Twitter. You can get me at the Viking Dippers on Instagram, and that's it.
OnlyFans?
That's it.
Yeah, well, I haven't got all me shit. on
Yeah,
me.
he has got it ready. All right, Seamus, you got the dirty details of the pod. What about what have we got?
You can find us at OnlyFans. No. So you can find us on YouTube at FPL Hangover. We're at FPL Hangover on Twitter, of course, as well. I'm at FPL Drunk. Email us, fplhangover@gmail.com. We're on all the major podcast networks. So we're on Spotify's, are probably a main one at this stage. Are we still on?
We're on them all,
SoundCloud.
Seamus. We're on them all.
We're on them all.
Yeah.
We're on SoundCloud. No, we're not in SoundCloud. We didn't.
Do
Do
we,
that.
Who
we
listens
stop
to fucking
SoundCloud? Okay, I wasn't sure about that one. We're on Apple Music now. We're on not Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. Excuse me. We're on Podbean, Pocket Casts.
Yeah,
all
they
the
get
good
it. They
stuff.
get
Yeah,
it.
we're
All the
on-
good stuff.
Jesus Christ.
Any reputable podcast network.
We're massive.
We're
But
fucking
not
massive.
SoundCloud. We just like our first.
We're not paying for that shit.
No.
What we
Fuck
started off
SoundCloud.
on SoundCloud, we just abandoned because it just got a bit too awkward.
So bloody awkward, but no, you nailed it. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, everyone. We, as I said, should have another one out before the season kicks off. So enjoy, this kind of little bit of calm before the storm, and most importantly, God bless.